3 days after the death of the late Jerry John Rawlings, the former president of Ghana, and I've come to the residence of a man who worked closely with him. Mr. Teye Kitcher was with the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, a veteran journalist, of course, and I can't but come to him and share or listen to his experiences with the ex-military man. My name is Solomon Mensah. This is Talk to Solomon. Let's go straight up into the action. Mr. Teye Kitcher, welcome to Talk to Solomon.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure having you.
I should be the one saying it is a pleasure having you in my humble home.
Thank you so much, sir. I think I should say you are a huge man, not a big man. Yeah, you know.
I'm humbled.
Yeah.
I'm humbled.
Tell me a bit about yourself, where you grew up, your parents, and all.
All right. My full name is Titus Teye Kitcher. I was named after my grandpa, with whom I share a birthday and a birth date. We were born on the 7th of July. My father was Joseph Richard Tekwe Wintum Kitcher. The Wintum coming from Osu because his mother was from Osu Anoho. So, in fact, among my siblings, I'm the one without the Wintum in my name. Then my mother is called Vida Mercy Erefua Bruce Gardner.
Wow.
She comes from Sopond, but the mother comes from Sempe in Accra.
Okay.
You know.
Mamprobi Sempe there.
Yes, that's
okay.
right. You know, the family house is just opposite St. Mary's Secondary School.
Okay.
So I can say that, and then my father's father, the one I was named after, comes from Adan.
Okay.
So I am a quarter Adan man, quarter Ghana man, quarter Fanti man, quarter somewhere, because the Kitchers also traced their history to the Volta region.
Okay.
Keji.
Okay. Wow.
That was where my great-grandfather migrated from to Adanfo.
Okay.
To settle way back, you know. That was the patriarch of the Kitcher family. So I share quarter.
So when you talk about United Ghana, I think you should lead.
Yes. I bet you.
Yeah.
Because so yes, and in fact I grew up in Osu.
Okay.
I was born in Osu.
Okay.
Baptized at the Ebenezer Presbyterian Church.
Okay.
I went to the Osu Presbyterian Boys Primary School. From there to Adanfo Presbyterian Boys Boarding School.
Okay.
And then to Adan Secondary School. From Adan Secondary School to GIJ for my diploma. That was in 1979.
79. Wow.
And 80 I completed. No, I completed in 81. 81 I completed.
Wow.
And then by 82 April I was working at GBC.
Wow.
You know, so that is the progression of my life story till I got to GBC.
You know why I told you at the beginning of this interview that you are huge. 82 when you started working at GBC, I wasn't born. I see. So 82 you were at GBC. Were you? What role did you take? Were you a reporter, producer?
Yes, I was a reporter right from the start.
Okay.
The reporter is the lowest ranking fellow in the newsroom.
Floor member.
Common floor member.
Yeah.
Now Nkrumah say veranda boy. Yes, so I started GBC as a reporter.
Okay.
In 1982, April 7th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Remember the date precisely?
Precisely, because it was on the 7th, and I was born on the 7th day of the 7th month of the year.
Wow.
I deem it very special.
Wow. You know, that's why, you know, I like Al Jazeera because of, I mean, many reasons, but one thing stands out. They use the veterans. You know, you talk about James Bass, who reports on international issues, Mike Hanna, Washington, and all. You know, they have the experience. this guy in China, Adrian Brown. You know, the China 1989 Tiananmen Square.
Exactly.
You know, he was a reporter 30 years ago, I think last two years when they were marking it, he was there reporting.
Exactly.
So when I see you, I see them.
Well,
you get it?
We thank God.
Yeah. And so, as a reporter, what sort of assignments were you covering?
Okay, I started off covering the normal assignments, press conferences, you know, events. Most of them from the news diary. You know, those are diary assignments that I covered. Stuff from 82 till 85. I was running shift.
Okay.
You know, so when my shift is on duty, I have to go. Those days we monitor BBC.
Okay.
You know, have to monitor BBC, come and transcribe. Then we take the portions we like for the news at 6, 7, 13 hours, 18 hours.
Wow.
On and on and on.
You transcribe what BBC says.
Exactly. You record and then you come and transcribe longhand.
Wow. Why didn't you play the cues from BBC?
We did not have that kind of technology at that time. I'm talking to you about times when we're using reel-to-reel recorders.
I see.
You understand?
I see.
We did not even have electronic typewriters. We had the manual ones.
Wow.
And so you type onto a stencil, which is then cyclo-style.
Wow.
Now, I don't know the last time I saw a cyclo-styling machine. You know, but they were a common feature. For example, one of the things in the newsroom that we use, one of the tools was we call it the USB.
Okay.
It's actually a Motorola system that connects all the regional capitals to Accra, the radio newsroom. So if WA has a story, you hear newsroom calling WA, newsroom calling WA, or WA calling newsroom, WA calling newsroom over. Then the reporter, the junior most person, will have to get there and take down whatever the person will say. The person will dictate, and then you write it down.
Wow.
You understand?
A reporter giving information, news information.
Yes. You write it down.
I see.
In longhand.
I see.
And you give it to the chief leader to look at.
Okay.
Edit it.
Okay.
Then gets into the news.
Wow.
You know, so that was how the work was.
I'm interested in that. So was it was a kind of Motorola phone or something?
Yeah, it was a system. A Motorola system that was connected to the radio newsroom from all the regional capitals. So wherever there is a GBC office, the newsroom of that office, let's say Tamale office, newsroom, is connected to the radio newsroom via the USB. That's a Motorola voice system.
Wow.
You know.
Wow. That's interesting. And then there's WhatsApp, there's email,
library crowd phones.
Yeah,
you can read books on your phone. You know, so things have improved. Technology has taken us to levels of convenience. I would say.
Wow. So then after the 85 and I mean, covering the story, the press, the press releases and all that. Were you promoted to certain positions
before I got to the castle?
Yeah.
No. In actual fact, when I was a reporter, I know the kind of assignments I relish. Weekend assignments.
Okay.
Doing something, then tiptoeing. I would love those assignments. And then festivals outside Accra.
Okay.
You'll be asked to go and cover a day's trip. That I enjoyed those ones because it gave me a whole new environment to gather stories than the go here, go there kind of thing within Accra. It was a thrill for me actually. I found it as an adventure going on such assignments.
Wow.
But I was in the newsroom. I remember very well. One Monday, I came to the office. Our shift was on duty in the morning. Our head of news, or director of news and current affairs, was Mr. David Anaglate.
Yeah, I had a name.
I entered the newsroom and I was told Mr. Anaglate wants to see you. Normally those days, when they say Mr. Anaglate wants to see you, you dread the meeting. So Well, I primed up myself and went. All he told me was, Teye, go to the castle. From today, you report from the castle.
Wow.
A reporter. And at that time, assistant chief editors were covering the castle.
Okay.
You know, before. And I was like, what? A reporter? Not even an assistant editor.
So the castle wasn't a place for just
It was the last place I dreamt of. Me, I was comfortable in my
one corner.
One corner, you know what I mean? Covering those weekend stories and other stories. I was quite comfortable. So I had a mentor in the newsroom called John Yankuma.
Okay.
So John calls me aside and says, say Kwako. I say Kwako, go. Go. Still work. Go. And do your best. Be the best that you can. I was in a check shirt, light blue check shirt, and jeans, blue jeans with my moccasin, blue moccasin. And so they had to go and drop me at the castle.
That day?
That day.
Okay.
I got to the castle, there was an assignment. I've forgotten what it was about, but someone was calling on the then chairman of the PNDC, Flight Lieutenant Rawlings. And we line up in a corner along the walls, the reporters and our cameramen and stuff along the wall. I was there, then the man enters, takes a look at us, singles me out and say, you are new. And I say, yes, sir.
The man you mean? Rawlings himself?
Yes.
Okay.
You are new. I say, yes, sir, I'm new. And he looked at me, he sized me up. When he got to my feet, he looked at my shoes and said, you got big feet. What is your size? Then I look at his boots and I said, just like yours, sir. So he smiled and said, hey, Mr. Shoe, till today, till he died, he hardly calls me Teye.
Okay.
He calls me Shoe.
Wow.
Big Shoe.
Really?
Or Mr. Shoe.
I see.
If you go to him and you mention Teye first, you say, who is Teye? If you say Mr. Shoe, you say, oh, yes, Big Shoe. You know, so from that time, some kind of bonding developed.
Okay.
That eventually became like a senior brother, junior brother kind of relationship. You know, because I could walk to him at any time if I have a problem, my own personal problem or a professional problem. And we talk about it. If he can solve it, he solves it for me. We were that close. We were that close.
Wow.
I really miss him.
Wow.
I do.
Wow.
I do a lot. Yeah, I do.
I mean, sorry to all of us for the loss.
Yeah, man.
And so how did you hear the news of his passing?
I was here when I had a call. And what the person said was, Dre, and I was like, Dre for what? He said, oh, your old man is dead. I said, which of them? Even though I knew, I was skeptical and scared. Which of the old men? And he says, Rawlings.
Wow.
And I said, stop. Let me make a few calls. I'll get back to you. So I made a few calls and then it was confirmed that he had died. You know, and since Wednesday, I've not been myself.
Wow.
Wednesday night, I did not sleep. I did not sleep. Thursday, I had to attend my grandniece's graduation. From GIJ, the news site. She is now a holder of a bachelor's degree in communication studies. Actually, she followed me into the field, so I had to be there as the godfather to, you know, be with her in her time of success or victory. You know, but that was the only gay moment I've not been myself because of the calls I get from friends, calls I got from family, calls I got from colleagues, and calls from radio and TV stations for a word on who Rawlings was. How do I know him? How did I work with him? I think your station called me,
Yeah.
TV3 called me, 3FM called me,
Onuya FM.
Onuya FM, you know, I mean, GTV, Radio Ghana, and some others. I mean, this morning I spoke to one of the TV stations. Yesterday I spoke to about 2 or 3 or so. So that's been my routine. It's been difficult because I make it as a point to see the old man once or twice in a month if I can.
Okay.
Or once or twice every 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
You did well.
No, he's my big brother. And we do not talk politics all the time. We talk about life. Yes. That is the personal friendship side of me and the late President Rawlings. Then when it comes to the professional side, we also talk because we both enjoy reading. So sometimes we sit down, we read the books that we discuss the books that we have read.
Okay.
And the interesting points of the book and all that. I mean, that was the personal side of things, you know. Yeah, I will miss him. I will sorely miss him. You know, because this someone, if I have a domestic problem that I want to solve, I can go to tell him the story and he would give me sound advice.
Wow.
You know, so yeah, I'm going to miss him.
Well,
greatly.
Let me take you a bit back to the time of where you were the presidential correspondent for GBC. What sort of work did you do? Was it that different from what we are seeing today with presidential correspondence? How was the work there at Castle?
Okay, you reported on the activities of the president. When people call on him, or when he's giving out letters of credence, when people are handing in their letters of credence and that kind of stuff, foreign governments or foreign leaders coming to him at the castle for discussions, and those were some. But the key ones were when we traveled on trek outside Accra to the regions.
Okay.
Because he would always like to go to the remotest and the most deprived areas of Ghana.
I see.
So you got to see Ghana.
Big in Accra?
Yes. As a young journalist in my 20s, you know, it was an adventure. And I first saw it as a privilege and a blessing for me to be doing that, you know. So I'm always excited whenever we're traveling. In fact, I had 2 flight bags. I have 2 bags, one flight bag for internal travels, and a suitcase for external travels, always packed.
Okay.
The suitcase with my passport on it.
Okay.
And the flight bag with my recorder.
Okay.
If I tell you that up to now I have all the notebooks in which I took notes.
Wow.
I have them. I have all my reports too.
Wow.
From 85 to 2000.
Really?
Yes, I do.
That's great.
I do.
That's great for documenting such.
Sure. I mean, no journalist must burn off records as such, because you can get stories. Old stories can generate new stories. Yeah. I believe in that.
Yeah.
So
I'll even generate some before I go.
Yeah.
I see. So, traveling internally, I mean, in Ghana, where did you go that you saw that the president was, I don't know how to describe it, but he was sad seeing the situation of the people and felt like doing something for them?
Afram Plains. The very first trip to the Afram Plains started off mystically, because I said mystically because we did not know where we were going.
Okay.
We left Accra around 3 a.m. and there was speculation in the press SUV we were using. We were going to Wa, we were going to Tamale, we were going to Boga. You know, we were debating.
Okay.
Then when we got to Nkoko, we turned right and started climbing the hill.
Okay.
The mountain. And we're like, where is this old man taking us?
Okay. Let me pause you a bit. So, you were not always briefed on where you were going?
No.
I see.
There are times my mother will not hear of me. She will hear of me when I go on air.
I see.
That I've been here, or I'm here. You know, those days were not, I wouldn't say structured. They were structured, but in a different way. You get to know we are moving somewhere maybe a day or two before the time, not a week. Or sometimes you'll be at home. I remember there was a day I was at number 1. You know, there was where this place is, that Dankwa Circle, there's this place, there was the name of the place.
Dankwa Circle.
Where the mall, the shop.
Yeah, Kuala. Yeah.
Kuala used to be the place we call number 1. It was a spot opened by Fatal.
My cameraman.
Talal Fatal.
Okay, the Metro TV man.
Yes.
I see.
So I was there in the evening drinking with friends. Then I saw green, soldiers moving from table to table looking at faces.
Okay.
And I have my big fat burger in front of me and a bottle of beer. You know? They got to my table and say, Charlie, you are traveling. I said,
So they were looking for you?
Yes. Because they went home and my wife told them I had gone to number 1.
Okay. And there were no phones?
There were no phones.
I see.
Those days. And I have left my handset. You know, my call sign was India 1.
I see.
Yeah. So they got to me and said, we're traveling. I said, where? Where? He said, oh, the old man wants us to travel. Where? They won't say. I said, okay, I haven't packed it. He said, oh, don't worry. Your wife gave us the bag. Everything is in there.
They just told you that?
Yes.
Wallahi.
So from number 1, I did not go home. Straight to the castle.
Wow.
Then we left.
Wow.
It was, I think, on a trip to Wa. And we had to get there before the old man gets there.
I see.
You know, so we had to travel through the night. Made a stopover at Nkoko where some people wanted to eat. The next stopover was in Kumasi. From Kumasi straight to Kintampo where we refueled, and then to Tamale, Bolga. Because those days there was that route from, I think, Techiman that you used to Solar and Cool. It was horrible.
Yeah,
so
I used the Techiman Solar about a month ago.
Okay, you see how it is better now.
Yeah,
but
it's a bit of potholes on the road, but it's
there were worse potholes some time ago. Very, very horrible ones. And you know the road we call the Jerry Curl road. A road that is not smooth. It's like someone in Jerry Curls. When you're driving on it, the car keeps sliding from side to side. We used to call them the Jerry Curl roads.
See.
You know, so it was quite a long trip, and we're driving in a convoy. You know, convoy travel has its thrills and its moments of joy, but you always pray that you go and come back in one piece. Yes, and God saw us through it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you were talking about the front planes too.
Yes. You know, so when day was just about breaking, we saw water as we were descending the mountain, the Kwa range. Then we're like, where is this? Because none of us, I, for example, and most of us in the press vehicle had never gone anywhere like that before. But not knowing, the old man had done his own sort of recce. You know, he's a soldier.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he might have done his recce with a helicopter. And had realized that, look, this place is so deprived, I have to go there. So we got to Amamfrom.
Okay.
It's a lakeside community. From there, no, Adolso.
Okay.
Adolso. From
Adolso,
Adolso,
Eastern region,
Eastern region, yes, Adolso.
I know Adolso very well.
Adolso. When you descend
to Tinkong.
No, when you're going towards the Afram Plains, towards the shores of the lake. Oh.
Okay, sure.
So this one you climb and descend towards the lake.
Okay.
Also. So from there you have to cross by pontoon to Echiaman from. Then you hit the road to Fori all the way to wherever along the front plain. So we got there and we are not eating since morning.
Wow.
And the old man realized we were hungry, so he bought fried yam and fish for us to eat.
Okay.
And as soon as we crossed, we hit off to Fori. Fori then had a detachment of personnel from the Field Engineers Regiment trying to construct a road, you know, to Donkokrom.
Okay.
You know, was a bit slow then. You know. So, and the road to the Afram Plains was like a trailer, you know, a trailer trail or a tractor trail, because there wasn't a road. You get to places where there are rocks, you have to maneuver. And you know, we're using Mitsubishi Pajero.
Okay.
You know, if we had shot a film, it would have been a very good film for the Pajero, the company itself. You know, it was thrilling because you meeting bush, you seeing forest, you seeing truckloads of yam and food produce moving towards Echiaman from to cross over. You know, it was thrilling for us. It was adventurous. So we went through to Donkokrom.
Okay.
We thought we were going to sleep at Donkokrom because it was a major town. The old man said, no, we've not gotten to where we're going yet.
Wow.
So we hit off again.
I see.
To the edge of the lake, Volta Lake, at a place called Amankwatono.
I see.
We got to Amankwatono at 8-ish.
PM.
PM. The whole village was asleep.
Wow.
Not knowing
Rawlings was in town.
The whole village was asleep. So I'm saying that was one of the trips I remember most because of the thrill, because of the adventurous nature of it. I enjoyed the coverage of that particular trip. So when we got there, as I said, the town was asleep, the village was asleep, and we had to sleep in a cocoa shed.
Okay.
But the cocoa shed was not big enough for all of us, so some of us had to sleep on top of vehicles, some of us in the vehicles. It was not a luxurious kind of rest, you know. And the food we had was so small that 2 people had to share 1 kinky and 1 fish.
Wow.
After the whole day without food.
The press corps?
All of us.
Okay.
All the press corps. The whole group of people, including bodyguards, drivers, mechanics, whatever. All of us. And I shared my 1 kinky, 1 fish with Nano Hinito, former General Secretary of the
I see.
NPP. He was then covering for TV news.
Okay.
You know, and I was hungry, you know. So I decided to take a tour of the village in the night. I had, you know, some azan touch me. So as I took it out and I was moving, the old man saw me and said, hey, shoo. And gone. Mboya, where are you going? I said, oh, sir, I just want to go and see if I can get some cigarettes. He said, hey, come, I have some. I said, oh, sir, but I don't smoke your brand. So,
okay.
And he said, look, I know you are hungry. Don't go and uproot anyone's cassava. We all laughed. So, you know, I moved into the town and I knew that anywhere there is water and there is fish, you either find an Adaman, a Tongu man, or someone from Pram Pram. So I was walking around the village, then I heard some people speaking Dangwe.
Okay.
And then I went and knocked.
Okay.
I say, me, a stranger. Say, okay, come inside. So I went into the compound. They had just come back from the lake.
Okay.
They were cooking.
Wow.
Light soup.
A farmer.
Light soup with some gari and bafa.
I see.
Actually, they sell akweteshi too there.
Oi.
So they served me, and it was customary. I mean, you know, where from you? Then I told them, oh, I ate. I ate before I went back to the
Wow.
Yes. You know, it was
interesting.
Yeah, the next day in the morning they brought more. They brought fish, soup,
okay,
from the same place I went to. You know, for us.
And I know they will say, "Yeah, the command Rawlings in Crawford." No?
I swear, they got there before they realized that was Rawlings. They've never seen him before in person. You know. Yeah. So that their front playing trip. So you see. It was after that trip that he determined to make the life of the people in their front plains as comfortable as he can. That's why he started working on roads, and then the power, electricity. You know, they had to pass the cable through the water.
Okay.
From Adosu.
Okay.
To a chairman from, and then distributed throughout.
I see.
Towns and villages there.
Okay.
You know, so the front plains trip was. One of my major and well-loved encounters. Coverage.
You remember what he told the people at the time? Like the village that he went to. Remember what he told them? Like his message for them that.
No, his message was electricity can do a lot of things. Electricity can open up the economy of any small village or town. So he would do all he can to ensure that they get electricity.
Okay.
That he did, I remember.
I see.
There were other trips to their front place, very memorable ones, but the first one was the most memorable of all.
I see. Then you did outside travels.
Exactly.
Tell me more. I'm interested.
Well, my work with for the late President Rawlings has taken me outside this country, as far north as Newfoundland, as far south as New Zealand, as far west as Los Angeles,
I see.
And as far east as Brunei.
Wow.
So I've given you a cross. You know, we went to, I did not go with him on every trip outside the outside the country, but I went with him on most of his trips.
Okay.
The most memorable ones I can remember was the 50th anniversary of the UN.
Okay.
I covered it for Radio Ghana.
Wow.
And there was, after that, we spent about 2 or 3 weeks in the US on business promotion trip. We went Texas, Detroit, Chicago.
That boy chilling.
I tell you. You know, we went to Washington by road from New York.
I see.
Through Lincoln University, where Dr. Kwame Nkrumah lectured. Could you believe that they still maintain his bungalow and all that he used there as a museum?
Kwame Nkrumah's?
Yes.
I see.
At Lincoln University.
Okay. I have to be there.
But
I will go there.
You have to. You know, they hold it in special awe.
I see.
So Nkrumah lectured there. So his plates, his winter coats, his boots and stuff, they are all there.
Wow, these people are serious.
They are serious. You see how they revere him.
Yeah.
And here, tell me.
We burnt his books and all that.
Yes. I remember my father running away with Nkrumah's books to go and bury them in the sand in Ada when I was a kid.
I see.
So that one was an eye opener. You know, the first time I was in America and I was covering the UN. Its 50th anniversary was momentous. I was excited. I was happy. You know, it's a blessing and privilege that comes to just a few people, and I counted myself very blessed and privileged. You know, and to have the chance to go around some of the cities of the US. You know, I remember the Salam restaurant in Chicago where Louis Farrakhan.
Okay.
You know, we met Louis Farrakhan there.
Okay.
You know, because that was a restaurant for the members of the Nation of Islam. You know, you ate things, veg dishes that were spectacular.
The no Washington go stage as Nasa. Also Chile, Obi can Chile.
You know, It was a trip.
Rawlings spoke at the. Did he speak at the UN 50th anniversary?
Yes, almost all the heads of state or their representatives spoke.
And you remember what he said? Or we have to go through the archives?
Oh, I have to.
You have to.
That was quite some time.
I will need that.
You know, but I remember it was also at the time when the Liberia crisis was at its peak. And so there was a special conference on Liberia, which President Rawlings chaired. So it was called at the instance of Ghana,
okay.
You know, with other partners to talk about Liberia and how they were going to restore peace to that country, you know.
And when you traveled outside Ghana, what was the mode of communication between you and the newsroom?
Telephone.
Telephone?
Yes.
Okay, so where the telephone outside, where did you rely?
My hotel room.
Okay.
Because I am giving money for calls like that. I call to the studio.
Okay.
And then I read my report, which is recorded and then played back at news time.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay, so they record your report.
Exactly.
Okay. Then they play it during the news.
Yes.
I see.
That was the system.
Okay. They didn't want to do live interviews.
How can you do live?
The machine didn't support that.
Which machine? You see, there are some. So when you cover summits like the OAU, the UN, they have a booking for broadcasters. If you don't do it on time, you wouldn't get it. So you have to do it months in advance. So at a particular time, specific time, they open the ports for you. You can talk to Accra direct.
Okay.
Just like on the phone.
Okay.
So if you have someone you wanted to interview, you can bring the person to the booth where the location or the booth or studio you've been allocated. You could do that, you know, but I hardly did that. I was interested in getting my report to Accra for use during the news.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember, I mean, you retired last year?
Yeah, Solo. I'm 61 years.
61 years. You still look young. You know.
We give glory to God, man. Yeah. God is good. Real good.
My cameraman was telling me, he said, hey, what's all this is the one? And I'm saying, yeah. I said, no, your teacher went to help about girls no.
Hey, even that side crime on retirement today. I went on retirement with Gaga Mata more than 20 years ago when I married.
Nice one. Nice one. And baby girls in there.
Debbie, strong, serious. Debbie.
And you for Kakrani to us.
Oh, he's a young man, and this is the game young men play. As you grow up, yeah, you understand. Fatah, don't worry. Go ahead. Use your head. Don't use your heart. Use your head to find them, and then use your heart to love them. If you use your heart first, you run into trouble. Use your head. Chasing a woman is an art.
Really?
It is an art.
Okay.
Art. Why yourself? It's an art, you know. Yeah, it's an art.
I see.
Yeah, you need to learn the art.
Okay.
As I always say, we are all witches and wizards. What is missing is the craft. We don't have the craft. We are all witches and wizards.
So, can you give us how your report went? Maybe not reciting whatever you did but maybe Teye Kitcher, New York, or the GBC. Like yeah.
It began with normally I like giving background to the story I'm about to. So if, for example, the UN, I start like the UN was created in the year blah 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 after the Second World War, blah 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 blah. This is an anniversary summit of the UN, and there are various heads of states here, including the president of Ghana or the head of state of Ghana, Flight Lieutenant J.J. Rawlings. he, as like most or all the heads of state, was given the chance to address the UN. Here's what he said. Then I play his voice.
Okay.
Because the voice is recorded in Accra.
Yeah.
And so I tell them where to pick
Yeah.
the sound bite from. And so they'll put it together.
Yeah.
And at the end of it all, I say, Teye Kitcher, reporting from the UN, New York. That's it.
Well, veteran, interesting.
Yes.
Did you ever do any story that the president called you and said, "Shoo, we want you"?
Never, never, ever, never. He's never criticized my work to my face. I don't know if he did, but he never criticized my work. It has never happened that I've written a story and former President Rawlings will say, oh, you did not write it well or something. No. I remember one day in one of our private conversations, he was complaining about a headline of a newspaper. I won't mention the name or who wrote it.
Okay. This after his government?
No. When he was in power.
Okay.
One fine Saturday afternoon around this time, I was with him in his chamber.
Okay.
And he was like, this, and I said, it was during a light moment. I was like, oh, sir. I said, no more.
Okay.
We were speaking Ghana. And I said, no more. Oh, you watch on one fly or jetty, or whatever you watch on one man, you know, we laughed.
Okay,
you understand?
I don't speak Ghana, so
you don't speak. I was like, oh, old man, you know, we can't teach you how to fly a jet fighter, so you cannot also teach us how to write our reports. Yeah. It was laughter. We laughed over it. And he said, well, anyway, but when he says anyway, but I know he has other concerns which were unnecessary for us to discuss at that time. So
I see.
We shoved it to one side and continued whatever conversation we're having.
Do you, I mean, you have rich experience, rich information. Do you have any book yet, or you plan putting down, I mean, writing?
That is why I say the death of Rawlings has really worried me, because I was working on a book on my time at the castle. So I'm telling you, I have all the notebooks I used at the castle, the full ones, I still have them. I have all my reports on events both in Ghana and outside Ghana. I have everything. So I have a team in place. We're planning a book, you know, but I would love that book to be a collaborative effort by all of us who covered the castle.
Okay.
I wouldn't like to go solo unless my people are feet dragging. Then I'll go solo. But I believe that we all shared that kind of experience. You understand? So we should come together and do a good book. You understand? A good book to honor the memory of
Rawlings,
the former president, Jerry John Rawlings.
That would be an interesting book to read.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I am reluctant to go solo, but I want to explore the avenue of us collaborating, all of us who cover the castle, you know, except we've lost two, Joe Braford-Nina and Brother Atakwesin, who both reported for Graphic at one time or the other.
Okay.
But then all the other colleagues, we had to get together. I've spoken to Divagbenu already. I've spoken to Gehated and Mensah. Okay. You know, and so we are talking. We see what to do. Okay.
That would be an interesting book.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
We also heard that the former president, the late, was writing a book. Did you have any idea?
Well, in one of our conversations, he said something like that. You know, and so I don't know how far he's gotten with it, but I hope that book comes out, because most of us in Ghana do not understand who J.J. Rawlings is. There are various stories about him as a wicked man. He's that. But I can tell you, he's one of the most soft-hearted persons you ever encounter. Yeah. very easily moved to tears.
For persons whose parents became victims, they still feel aggrieved.
It's natural. It is very natural. I don't begrudge them. It's natural. I would be angry too. I wouldn't take sorry that easily. You know, so it's natural, but that is life. You understand? I mean, there's been persecutions. There have been persecutions in our political history, from Kwame Nkrumah's time even till today. Persecution of journalists, persecution of opponents, persecution of whatever in our political space. You understand? And circumstances had called for some kind of action which would not be comfortable with some people. But if you are the president or you are the head of state, there are certain actions you have to take with the larger interest of Ghana on your mind. You understand? So I wouldn't sit here and make excuses because I wasn't the president. I wouldn't know the circumstances under which certain decisions were taken, and I won't go there. No, I won't go there. And the person to tell us the full story is gone, unless what he has in the book he said to have been writing would answer some of those questions. So, yeah.
You were with him. You saw his government and all that. Do you think that what he stood for reflects our current situation?
Why not? In Akan, you say Onyado, or is that also?
Yeah.
How do you translate Onyado into English?
Onyado, maybe loving one another, but I don't know one word to use for.
The Onya.
The Onya, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes. He has that, or he had it. He's a dead man now. I can't just imagine him in a fridge, in a mug. Man, it's painful. But he had that. If he had not gotten that, he did not have that, he wouldn't have dreamed of going to the Afran Plains to see how those people were living. He wouldn't have gone to some of the remotest and most deprived areas we went to, which now have electricity, which now have water. Those are some of his legacies. The mass electrification of Ghana by Jerry John Rawlings has lit up a whole lot of communities, towns, villages, hamlets across Ghana. And his water, his how do you call it? His policies on water distribution, they are out there for us to see. Do you know that he even launched the Abokobi Water Project?
Okay.
The Abokobi Water Project is a community-owned water project, championed by him and inaugurated by him. You know, so that feeling of brotherhood permeates almost all decisions he took as president. Look, there were times, if there's a road construction somewhere, you wake up midnight, he will call people at random and then you go. If it is asphalt, he has his ruler.
Okay.
If it's supposed to be a 4 inches kind of thickness, he will go and measure. And even the regional minister or the district chief executive wouldn't know we are around.
Okay.
Until he's done all those things.
I see.
So no contractor on the road, nothing. Just to see for himself. He was that type of person. I remember the day we went to Nima to go and watch scrub gutters. God.
You scrap gutters in Nima?
I tell you.
As journalists or as
part of with the president of the state of the land.
Okay.
At dawn, I was there. The vehicle came, said on board, the old man wants you.
I see.
Got to the car, say, "Shoot, why Nima?" I feel Nima. Say, "Oh." He told me, "What I got time?"
What you got them?
What I got time? I was like, "What?" That was in my head. What do you mean? I was asking myself, "Oh, when you do what?" Got that. So we got to
this time it wasn't Texas. It wasn't New York.
No, not in Texas.
Nima.
It was Nima. But even in Nima, they have Texas. They have Oklahoma. They have all the cities. They have names. The sports. They call it bases. So we got to Nima and was like, the people were. But I was friends to the then former MP, Yaya Kansas, of blessed memory.
Okay.
So I went to Yaya's house and said, "Charlie, the old man is here. And there is no way I can go and call Doctor something. I forgot his name. He then lived in Arabaka. Charlie, you come and receive him." And it was during the Ramadan time. So we got there. And Yaya came. And then we started from the Nima market. Scrub the gutter towards Mamobi.
Okay, so the scrubbing was done by himself?
And us.
And did it involve the residents?
The residents, few of them, if you are fasting, and look at the time we got to Nima, they were sleeping.
Hey, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I've heard of this story, but I didn't know the details.
You know, so how can they come out to do that kind of? I understood them. You know, but sometimes one gets angry. You see them standing along the gutter. Look at JJ Walai. Then it was like, God damn, you people. I just got at this myself. You know, it was fun. You know, and then at the end of it all, the fire service had to come and use their water hose to give us water to bath on the street.
Okay.
You know, to bath. Look, those days, my gutters were really stinky. And he sometimes would get into the gutter where there are covers to go in there. And that one there, I go stand aside because
you leave that to the soldier man.
In my job. You know, so it was fine.
So this was around which year?
1990 something. Yeah. I'm not too sure, but between 94 and 98. Yes.
I got to hear of it after he had passed on. I briefly heard from a lady being interviewed at the NDC's headquarters that Nima, whatever.
Yeah.
But I didn't know the details. And so he involved even the reporters. Everybody, the president is scribing. So
I was picked at home at dawn
by the soldiers.
He dispatched a vehicle to come for me. When I got to the castle, I saw Niadu Ade and Sasu already there. You know, so such was the routine. You know, the guy can get up and say, "Oh, I'm going here." There have been instances where we have traveled as far as Abuja. Thinking that we're coming back during the Liberian crisis. We're coming back the same day, only to be told
by bus, by vehicle, by road.
No, by air.
By air. Okay.
Abuja is quite far. You know, only to be told, guys, you have to sleep, and so they have to go and buy panties, singlets, soap, sponge, towel, toothpaste, toothbrush. You know, that kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
He had that, in quote, crazy mentality, you know. We are doing it.
Beautiful craziness.
Yeah. Yeah.
I call it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a beautiful kind of craze.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I did. What about corruption? You know, corruption, his fight against corruption was, I don't know what to say, if it is a pivot of his government. What do you see now? Did he work in vain?
Well, I wouldn't say he worked in vain. At least he left us that spirit of asking for accountability, asking questions of how we are governed, asking questions of how our money is spent, asking questions of certain decisions of government. You understand? I think he opened our minds to the need for us to ask questions about how we are governed, to ask questions about how things are done in the governance system. Because he questioned authority, May 15th. He questioned authority, June 4th. He questioned authority on the 31st of December 1981. You understand? And so that is something that might not happen overnight. It will take time. You know, look at our current situation. People boldly coming out to ask government what a Japa means. To question government over PDS. To question, you think without that kind of spirit imbued in us by the actions of Rawlings, would be doing this, or would be as mute as whatever. Right? So I think his legacy of making us realize that we need to ask questions of how we are governed, how our taxes are spent and things, it will take some time. But once the youth understand that kind of feeling, I call it feeling, things will not be the same for anybody governing Ghana.
I see.
People will ask questions. They will demand accountability. They will demand prosecution. We ain't there yet. But as the Spanish say, poco a poco.
Small.
Da. Speaking in Russian. Da in Russian means yes. Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
Mr. Teye, I think you mentioned your wife along the interview. You are married.
Yes, I am.
Okay. For how long now?
I married her, wedded her in 1994.
Wow.
You know.
I think I was in class 4 or so.
DVVV. You understand?
No.
Small boy. That is the ever side of me coming out.
Yeah.
DVVV. I have a friend, when I call him DVVV, he calls me Abegaho. You know.
Okay.
So, yes. But before that time, we had engaged her for a couple of years before we, you know.
How did she feel about you covering the president or the presidency?
Well, normally she'd be scared because those were, you know, scary times. You know, it was only God. I'm not saying I heard of any attempts, but if there should have been any attempt on the life of Rawlings, I'm sure I would have died with him. Because when you draw 3 circles around him, when he's moving, I'm always in the inner one.
Okay.
You understand? So I knew, and there are certain things that I couldn't tell her. So some near accidents and stuff that I couldn't tell her until later.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't like a situation where she gets scared anytime I'm going on assignment with Rawlings. But I'll tell you this. When they were going to launch the Northern Electrification Project, it happened in Bolga. Okay. So we had to land on an airstrip. Okay. In Paga. Okay. Then Air Commodore Manfi and former Air Force commander during President Kufuor's time, Air Vice Marshal, is it Opong or something? Kufuor's time. No, not him. Samson OJ. Okay. Air Vice Marshal Samson OJ was a co-pilot. Okay. And Wing Commander Manfi, or Air Commodore Manfi, was the pilot. And he had committed us to land. Cattle came out of the bush. Wow. So they had to abort the landing. Okay. The plane shot into the air. Wow. You understand? And so, you know, the engines went off. Wow. Yes. That's where you realize that human beings, we fear death. You hear the Muslim calling Jesus, and you hear the Christian calling Allah. It was scary, man. Real scary. But, you know, somehow I saw the old man move out of his seat into the cockpit.
Okay.
You know, at that time,
themselves,
we were gliding. And so somehow the engines came on.
Okay.
We circled and landed. They did not tell us what happened. So we went to the assignment.
Okay.
After the assignment, people who came by air now wanted to go by road. The old man was standing at the doorway of the plane, looking into the crowd. Hey, yes, you. We came with you on board. Yes, you. I saw you. Get on board. Anyone who came here by air is going back by air. No one is going back by road.
Then he mentioned shoe.
I knew my position, so I was already on my way towards I had wanted to go by air because I was scared. But looking at his mood, I said, no, this man might call me, and so I took my bag and ponyo, I went into the plane. And then he took off. In fact, he flew the plane from Paga to Accra.
Wow. He did the flying himself?
Yes.
Okay.
And then when we got to Accra, he landed, and then we all clapped. Then he went back, took off again. He has something he calls a presidential flight.
Okay.
He tilts the plane to the left, tilts it to the right, dives a bit and raises her.
By that time, you had disembarked?
No.
You were on board?
I tell you.
And you were enjoying the show?
Me? Enjoying what? So, look, with aircraft, it is mandatory to take off, but it's compulsory to land. With every aircraft, the takeoff is optional, but landing is mandatory.
Yeah.
You have to land.
Yeah, you can't be suspended in the air.
There is no fittest shop up in the sky. So if you have a problem, you're coming down straight up. You know.
So you enjoyed his piloting skills,
of course,
to an extent.
I have flown with him from some tiny base in Akosombo to Accra in a chopper.
Wow.
Helicopter.
Okay.
That takes about 4 people.
Wow.
You know, from Nkwanta in the Oti region to Accra.
You were telling me about flying with the late Rawlings in a chopper that contained about 4 people. Tell me more.
Oh, it was a cool flight from, I think, Bedwasi to Accra. Very cool. But there was a situation where we had to fly. That Defender plane I'm talking about takes about 6-8 people. No washroom in it, you know, and stuff like that. At a propeller plane, 2 propellers, and we had to fly into Accra Airport, Kotoka Airport, with 1 propeller.
You see?
Yeah, I was scared, but well, if I'm going to die, I was going to die with the president. And the only bad thing, the only uncomfortable thing is that they will say he died with 16 orders or he died with 10 orders, so they never gets mentioned. You know?
The rest are campus.
Yeah, you know, to the headline,
the president is dead.
The headline, the president had died in a plane crash.
Yeah.
He died while flying from here to here.
Accompanied by 16 others.
Yes, he died with 16, 10, 12, 2, 4, 5 others. Your names never get mentioned. Except at the tail end of the story. You know, so.
I see, yeah.
You know,
you really had good moments with the former president.
I did.
You really did.
I did. I enjoyed my stay at the castle as the presidential correspondent. I really did. But first and foremost, I saw that as a blessing, a privilege, and an honor. I guess that was what made me get up every day and go to work a happy person. Yes.
Wow. You know what's running to my mind? I'm still thrilled by the soldiers coming to your home while you were not there, took the bag from your wife, searched for you at the drinking spot. You know, it's beautiful, and
it is.
Where there were no phones.
Yes.
You know, they had to search for you.
Yes. Because they were told where I could be, so they had to make sure.
They were looking at the people seated one by one.
Yeah, they dare not go back to the castle and say we didn't see Mr. Shu.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. I mean, I think we have to come for part 2 of this interview.
No problem. Any time, man.
Sure.
Anytime.
It's been nice talking to you, Mr. Teye Kitcher.
It's been beautiful having you around, Solo.
It's a pleasure. It's an honor. I mean, this one day you must bless us before you go. Bless us. We are freshers in the journalism. I mean, industry.
I would love to bless your pen and your camera, but I know it is well. It is all well in the hands of God. You know, God has already blessed us.
Amen.
You know, but you know, I share devotionals at dawn.
Yeah.
I mean, God is good. You know, God is good, and I always tell people, you know, going to church is nothing than a socializing event. Getting spiritual with God is between you and your God during your time of prayers. That is where you get spiritual. That is where you talk to God. That's where you talk to your Father. What you people do in church is nothing but socialization. That is not. That is not the spirituality.
So do you attend church?
I don't know the last time I attended church.
Okay.
You can see the church hall is just
Presby?
a few steps away from where I live.
I saw it, Presby Church.
Yes, and I'm a Presbyterian too.
Okay, that is not far from you.
Yeah, but you know, if you grew up in a system where you are in a boarding house, Presby Middle Boys Boarding School, you have to go to church whether you are sick or not. And you go to church, you dare not doze, because if you doze, you'll be punished. The kind of thing, you know, makes you get fed up somehow.
But you tested, I don't know how to put it, military lifestyle. So that should be normal for you.
So, have you ever tried playing the organ for morning devotion with your uncle, who is a minister, standing by, and you try dozing, and the knock you get on your head is so heavy you can shake your brains? You know, so well, I was confirmed, as we say. You know, I was confirmed. I was baptized and confirmed Presbyterian.
Okay.
But I have not been to church in a very long while. I went to the Abogobi church here last 31st December.
Last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
And since then, I've not been there. But I enjoy, they have morning devotion on the speakers. And the way the speakers are positioned comes directly into my house.
Okay.
To my rooms. So I listen. I love the morning devotion. Yes, I really enjoy.
And I know you once told me that you wake up at 3 a.m. It has been a norm for you.
Yes,
even without alarm.
Yes, it's stuck because of the kind of work I did. Running shift. If you are for dawn, it means by 12:01 you have to start preparing the vehicle. You have to get to the office by 3 a.m. So sometimes the vehicle comes around 2 a.m., 2:30, that kind of thing. So, you know, it's become part of me, and all because of the Presbyterian boys boarding school training. It all started from there, you know. So it's become part of me.
Come on, the dozen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we go, I know you are now retired, but you do other things. Can you tell us briefly what you do?
Oh, I lecture broadcasting at Wisconsin University College, Ghana.
Okay.
I was doing that, I think I started a year or two before I retired. I was recruited by Professor Kwame Kakari, who is a friend, who was once the Director General of GBC. And I got to the interview only to see Cabral Bliami here, my lecturer in journalism at GIG. So you can imagine, it was home. It became home for me, and it's home to me now. I really enjoy giving back to the younger generation. My experiences, my skills, you know. And you see, there's one thing I have not told you. You can put it in your report. My career was shaped by 3 Johns.
Okay.
Johnny Ashigote, my father-in-law, was a broadcaster too.
Okay.
He taught me presentation skills. John Yankuma, he taught me all I need to know about news writing, the broadcast style, news presentation, the broadcast style. And then Jerry John Rawlings, who was something else for me. Was my mentor. Was a whole lot. Yeah, I'll miss him. Yeah, I'll miss our chats. I'll miss my visits to him in his office. I'll miss so many things. I pray God grants him eternal rest.
Amen.
May he rest in peace.
Amen.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Teye.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Right, I know you enjoyed the interview, my interview with the veteran journalist, Mr. Teye Kitcher. And I've learned a lot from the castle, his relations with the former president, the late Rawlings, and all. As always, as we promise you, good content awaits you. So if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, kindly subscribe for us. My name is Solomon Mensah. My cameraman was Fatal. Thank you for watching.